Photo Universe. Alright, now we're going to cut a mat board for our print. So that's what we're doing. We're making one of those to go over our photograph like that. Okay? And so we have our Logan Intermediate mat cutter here. And I measured our print. It's just as easy as taking your tape measure and checking it out. So I know this is 3 1/8. So I set my guide here to 3 1/8. And then I take my mat board. You're always working on the back side of your mat board. So okay, that's 3 1/8. We make a drawing and we'll write 3 1/8 so we know what to come back to. I measured earlier the sides, and I know they're 3 3/4. I like to leave about, on this size board, I like to leave about 3/8 on the sides and 1/2 inch on the bottom. So I think that's aesthetically pleasing. So this is 3 3/4. And then this will be 3 3/4, same, sides are the same. And I know that my bottom, because I measured, is 4 1/16. So we make a drawing there. And that would be this dimension, and that's leaving a 1/2 inch, plus or minus on the bottom. So, we've made all our drawings. Now we take our beveled mat cutter, and you put it on there, and there's a line on the beveled mat cutter right there, and that's what lines up to this line, and that tells us how far to go. This pin here, spring-loaded pin, that holds our mat cutter while we're making our cuts. So what we do is we do it in multiple stages. So you cut slowly through the board, makes a better mat. That's 2, and the third one I usually go all the way through. So there it is. So there's 3. That's cut. Now let's back up to 3 3/4. And this Logan Intermediate cutter makes life really easy. There are people who can do this freehand. I mean, that's an art in and of itself. So 1, 2, 3. The museum board is harder to get through than your standard wood fiber board. It's a little, because it's cotton. Just make sure everything's lined up. The wood board's thinner. The wood board cuts a little. The wood board will dull your blades faster. So, I think that's, so there's our third cut right there. And look at that, it's already popping out. Yeah. Okay, and then our last one was 3 1/8. And you can just zip right along here. And it's nice being able to make custom mats. Even if you don't dry mount your photographs, you can get this mat cutter and then tape your photographs to your board, and then make, you don't have to do, this is called a float mount on here. When it's dry mounted, this is called a float mount because the photograph's floating in the mount, floating in the mat. But what you could do is cut your mats to cover your photo like this. In other words, tape your photograph down on the edges and then cut your mat to go over the photograph like that. That's called a window mount. So, and that you don't need a dry mount press or any of that. You can just do that with a Logan mat cutter. And I think we're there. And we have one little corner now. I should cut that. It's probably going to break off before I cut it. There you go, it broke off. So there it is. And there's our mat. Perfect mat, beautiful. Start with a fresh blade. And there you go. And that's a float mount. There it is. And that's ready for signing and stamping. And you have a fun art print. That's it with Photo Universe. Thanks.